Pontius Pilate was the Roman prefect of Judea, whose reign was marked by mass violence and executions. Pontius Pilate went down in history as the man who sentenced Jesus Christ to death. He himself publicly performed a symbolic gesture and washed his hands, making it clear that the responsibility for the executions of an innocent man lies with the people. But what happened to him after the death of Christ, and how did his life end? Judea during the time of Jesus Christ, the first third of the 1st century, was not an independent state. From 6 to 132, Judea was a Roman province, a partially autonomous vassal state within the Roman Empire. Judea was ruled by prefects, officials appointed by Rome. Tiberius was the emperor under Jesus Christ. In 26, Tiberius appointed Pontius Pilate prefect of Judea. Little is known about his life. Most likely he belonged to a plebeian family. The adjective used before his name indicates that he was from Pontus. This was an ancient land in northeastern Asia Minor, now Turkey. Conquered by Rome in 63 BC. The fact that Pontius Pilate actually existed and was not a fictional character is known from the testimony of his contemporaries, 1st century coins with his name, and an inscription on a memorial tablet discovered by archaeologists. One of the earliest descriptions of Pontius Pilate is given by the theologian Philo of Alexandria, who calls the prefect of Judea at the time of Christ a bribe-taker, prone to insults, robbery, outbursts of anger, executions without trial or investigation, and also an extremely cruel person. Pontius Pilate's task as governor of Judea was to maintain order in the province, but, as is known from historical sources, he often exceeded his authority. Pontius Pilate held his position for a relatively long time, 10 years. Perhaps this was due to the specific policy of Emperor Tiberius, who claimed that frequent changes of governors contributed to the spread of corruption. He used to say about impolite officials, "They suck blood like mosquitoes, but when they are well drunk they do less harm. We must have mercy on people and not constantly send new robbers to them." From the Gospel of Luke, we learn about another person in the story, the procurator's wife. Worried about the fate of the captured prisoner, she says to her husband, "Do not get involved in the case of this innocent man, because today in a dream I suffered much from him." 27:19. The evangelist does not explain the nature of these dreams, but puts words into the mouth of the woman that contrast with the accusations coming from all sides. Luke does not pay more attention to Pilate's wife. However, the Apocrypha gave her a name unknown in the Bible, Claudia Procula. Origen claimed that the woman had to be converted to Christianity. In the mentions of Saint Nina, who was engaged in the evangelization of Georgia, a small comment on this matter is left. Allegedly, Claudia kept the burial shroud of Jesus Christ for some time, the so-called Turin shroud. If the only evidence telling about the fate of Pilate is considered only the Gospel text, then news about him disappears immediately after the crucifixion and burial of Christ. In addition to the Gospel, the most important documents recalling Pilate are the works of Josephus Flavius, Philo of Alexandria, and Tacitus. According to the historians Josephus, Flavius, and Tacitus, Pilate was removed from the government of Judea after a brutal massacre of a group of Samaritans who were taken for rebels. Pontius Pilate was sent to Rome, where his trail was lost. There are several theories about what happened to the former prefect of Judea after the crucifixion of Christ. He was executed by Emperor Caligula. He committed suicide by order of the emperor, and his body was thrown into the Tiber. He became a follower of Jesus and even gathers dust to convert the emperor to Christianity. There is no information about Pilate being appointed to any other post in the empire. Nothing is reported about him under the next emperor, Nero. In addition, the Apocrypha Mors Pilati, written many years after these events, tells a widespread, especially in Germany, version of the suicide of the prefect, who was presented as a cruel tyrant. As if to confirm this version, in Eusebius of Caesarea's work History of the Church, 4th century AD, we read, "During the reign of Gaius, a great misfortune befell Pilate. He encroached on his own life and became his own cat, and soon divine vengeance descended upon him." Greek writers tell of this. According to legend, the body of the Roman procurator was thrown into the Tiber, but the waters were disturbed by evil spirits. So the body floated to Vienna and sank in the Rhone. That is, it ended up in the territory of modern Switzerland in the area of Lake Geneva. According to legend, the remains still float to this day in a mountain pond on Mount Pilatus every Good Friday. The vast mountain range in the Alps is more than 1,200 meters above sea level, and although it seems unlikely, it owes its name to an ancient legend.